Imagine wielding a skill so profound that it could defeat anyone who dared to challenge you. Imagine being celebrated as the greatest warrior of your time. Would you bask in the glory, let your name echo across lands, and revel in your victories? Or would you, like Miyamoto Musashi, retreat into the shadows, embracing humility and forsaking fame in pursuit of something far greater? Musashi's name is synonymous with mastery. A warrior undefeated in over 60 duels, his reputation preceded him wherever he went. But what set Musashi apart wasn't just his skill with the sword. It was his ability to temper his extraordinary talent with humility. He understood a truth that few great figures ever grasp. Ego can be the sharpest blade against yourself. Today, we explore Musashi's profound lessons on ego and humility, uncovering how he walked the line between greatness and self-destruction. His story isn't just one of skill, but of inner growth, a journey that teaches us how to balance achievement with perspective, ambition with restraint, and fame with wisdom. To understand Musashi's perspective on ego, we must first examine his early life. Born into the tumultuous Sengoku period, Musashi was thrust into a world of violence and ambition. His victories began at a young age, defeating a skilled samurai in single combat at just 13 years old. This early taste of success could have fueled an uncontainable ego. But Musashi saw through the illusion of fame even then. Musashi believed that a warrior who let ego dictate their actions became predictable and weak. He observed countless rivals, blinded by their desire for recognition, fall victim to their arrogance. Their focus on defeating opponents for glory distracted them from mastering their own flaws. For Musashi, ego was the true enemy, a shadow that loomed over every triumph, threatening to cloud judgment and hinder growth. His mindset was clear. Skill is not measured by how loudly you proclaim your victories, but by how deeply you understand your craft and yourself. Humility wasn't a trait Musashi adopted out of politeness or meekness. For him, it was a survival strategy, a philosophy of life, and a path to enlightenment. Humility allowed Musashi to approach every battle with a clear mind, unburdened by the need to prove himself. Unlike many of his contemporaries who sought fame by publicly flaunting their victories, Musashi retreated into solitude after each triumph. He understood that humility kept him grounded, allowing him to see every fight not as a performance, but as a lesson. One of Musashi's greatest demonstrations of humility was his eventual withdrawal from dueling. After defeating countless opponents, he chose to abandon public matches, recognizing that his greatest battle lay within. By detaching himself from the cycle of competition and validation, Musashi found the space to grow spiritually, exploring the deeper meaning of his life and art. Humility doesn't mean a lack of confidence, and Musashi knew this well. In fact, his humility gave him the clarity to wield his confidence more effectively. Musashi's ability to balance confidence with detachment was epitomized in his legendary duel with Sasaki Kojiro. Arriving late to the fight, Musashi didn't let Kojiro's growing frustration distract him. His calm, composed demeanor wasn't arrogance. It was a reflection of his deep self-assurance, untainted by the need to impress. This delicate balance between humility and confidence is a lesson we can all apply. Too often, we swing to extremes, either consumed by self-doubt or overcompensating with bravado. Musashi's example teaches us that true confidence comes not from outward displays, but from inner stability. a quiet understanding of our abilities paired with the humility to keep learning. Musashi's humility was perhaps most evident in his relationship with fame. Despite his unparalleled achievements, he never sought the spotlight. In fact, he seemed to shun it. After his final duel, Musashi retreated into the mountains, dedicating himself to the study of philosophy, writing, and art. It was during this period of solitude that he penned the Book of Five Rings, his timeless manual on strategy and life. In its pages, Musashi rarely mentions his own victories. Instead, he focuses on principles that anyone can apply, emphasizing adaptability, discipline, and self-awareness. This detachment from fame wasn't about denying his accomplishments. It was about recognizing that true mastery transcends individual glory. Musashi's life reminds us that a legacy isn't built on how loudly we proclaim our success, but on the quiet impact we leave on others. Musashi's teachings aren't confined to the battlefield. They resonate in every corner of modern life, from the boardroom to the classroom, from personal relationships to creative pursuits. In a world dominated by social media, where ego is often amplified and humility overlooked, Musashi's lessons are more relevant than ever. His story challenges us to rethink how we approach success. Are we pursuing our goals for validation, or are we driven by a genuine desire for growth? Do we let setbacks inflate our self-doubt or teach us valuable lessons? Are we focused on outshining others, or are we committed to becoming the best version of ourselves? Musashi's humility teaches us the value of detachment, not as a rejection of ambition, but as a way to free ourselves from its grip. When we detach from the need to constantly prove ourselves, we find the freedom to focus on what truly matters: our craft, our purpose, and our inner peace. In the end, Musashi's greatest triumph wasn't his undefeated record. It was his ability to transcend ego, embrace humility, and dedicate himself to a life of inner growth. He wasn't just a warrior of the sword, he was a warrior of the spirit, battling the shadows within to find clarity, wisdom, and peace. As we navigate our own lives, filled with challenges and opportunities, Musashi's story invites us to pause and reflect. Are we chasing the fleeting applause of the world, or are we building a foundation of lasting strength within ourselves? The choice is ours. Like Musashi, we can step out of the shadow of ego and into the light of humility, forging a path that not only leads to success, but to true fulfillment. Thank you for joining this journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more wisdom that can transform your life. Until next time, stay timeless.